Hi, my name is Mario and I'm a fourth year Physics and Astrophysics student at Trinity College Dublin, and today I'm going to be showing you how a day of final year looked like for me, especially right now that I don't have any classes. During the first 2 months of fourth year, we're working full-time on our final year project. So right now it is 8 a.m. and I have to go to campus in an hour and I'm still in my pajamas, so let's go and change my pajamas. So before anything, I'm gonna have breakfast and then I will tell you a bit more about what is my actual project, what I'm gonna be doing today. I have a few things to go to campus for. So that is my breakfast right there. My usual granola with slice of toast with peanut butter and banana. It's a go-to, it's so nice. As I said, I am currently studying Physics and Astrophysics at Trinity College Dublin. Single degree that has mostly physics modules, but then we have astrophysics modules, like one every semester. We also have computational astrophysics labs instead of as many experimental labs. We started September, it's now October. It took me a while to film a video about everything because I needed to get used to things. And currently, as I said, I'm just working on the final year project. This is a period of 9 weeks where we're only working on the final year project. We don't have any classes, so it's full focus on that. Oh, it's been 4 weeks and I can show you a bit of how a day looks like. A day of college was usually like going to classes or assignments, but it's now looking really different. So first of all, I have 2 supervisors for my final year project. One of them is a professor that I previously had in second year, and I also worked with her during the summer of second year. So that's the main reason why I applied for this project that I'm doing, which I will get to later on. So how does a day really look like apart from what you will be seeing? It is mostly back and forth. We have Slack, so basically like a messages app of the whole team. What I make sure is that I always send updates to him of what I've done the previous day so that we are always in constant communication and I always know what to look forward to, because I'm really stressed out of getting to some point where I'm like, okay, so what do we do now? Because obviously there's not that much time and I want to do as best as I can, because this final year project counts 20 credits of final year, so it's like 1/3 of final year. So the grade of the whole course is based on 70% fourth year, so that means that it's like 20% basically. So it's really important. I am not going to college every single day. I only go to college if I have specific meetings or related to the final year project. Today we're going to be going to college because we have Astro Coffee, which is like a weekly meeting with all the people that work in Astro, professors, PhDs, postdocs, or us final year students that are doing the capstone project, having a coffee, a tea, and just talking about random stuff. And after that I have my weekly meeting with my main supervisor. Usually lasts more than an hour. This is the only time of the week that we get to work together in person to figure out the things that are most important or anything that is not working, to like look into it deeply. So yeah, today is probably one of the most interesting days. That's why I chose to film today, Thursday. So as you can imagine, most days if I don't have anything to go to campus, I usually just don't go to campus, because why would I can go to the study room, I can go to the gym, I can have food here, which I like saves me money obviously. On top of the final year project, I also should be starting to prepare for my final exams, because this semester I only have one exam, which seems like, okay, you're fine Mario, like one exam, but it's the so-called problem solving exam, 3-hour paper that covers content from whole undergraduate degree. It's literally like 3 years worth of content. Yeah, I know, I'm cooked. So ideally I should be working on the final year project as well as studying on my spare time. And then I also need to apply for masters, because I'm, as I said, doing my final year and I need to figure out what I'm doing next year. My idea is to do a 1-year masters, because I don't want to commit to a PhD, but obviously I need to apply, you know. So this also takes a lot of time because I need to do lots of documents, ask for recommendation letters. It's actually quite hectic. Like I don't have enough time in the day to do everything that I should be doing. So I feel like that's more or less a brief introduction. I will let you know later what the project is about. Let me have breakfast and go to college. We're a bit late maybe.
Going down.
Alright, we're here at the gym. Basically, there's no one as expected. I'm gonna be doing some weights. Let's just go. With my Las Palmas t-shirt, this is the football team I support. Now in second division, but we'll soon be back in first division. Let's go. After the gym, I had a shower and then I had lunch, and now I made myself a coffee. So finally, it is time to explain what am I actually doing in this final year project. So the title of my final year project is building a modern substellar spectral type sequence. Basically, what does this mean? Loads of big words. What is a spectral type? So back in the day, when they found stars and they wanted to start categorizing them by literally looking at their spectra. So a spectra is just a graph that has flux on the y-axis and wavelength on the x-axis. The targets that I am dealing with are brown dwarfs and exoplanets. Basically, I already mentioned this back in the day when I did my summer internship. If an object has more than 80 times the mass of Jupiter, then it is for sure a star, because it has enough mass to be able to produce hydrogen fusion and to be able to sustain it. But now if you go down the 80 Jupiter mass objects, they are not able to fuse with a sufficient rate to sustain fusion. So between 13 and 80 Jupiter masses, those are the, let's say, range of masses that allows an object to still be able to fuse a bit, in this case through deuterium. Deuterium is just one isotope, so it's like a variation of hydrogen with an extra neutron. But then it's also important to know that below 13 Jupiter masses, we consider the objects to be called exoplanets, because they are planets outside our solar system. The thing is, there's a really fine line to know whether one thing is an exoplanet and another thing is a brown dwarf, although they do form from completely different processes. The brown dwarf forms like a star, exoplanets form like normal planets do. That's the basics. So what I'm doing is actually getting a really decent sample of many different objects around spectral types that are called substellar. Below M we have L, T, and Y, and these are called substellar because they are not stars, they are brown dwarfs or exoplanets. So I have 72 targets that are from two different samples. One comes from the James Webb Space Telescope, which is like the new Hubble, and then I do have targets from Spitzer. And the idea is to come up with a way to have a sequence of them. So to this day, there are some sequences, obviously, because I'm not the first one to come up with this. So these coldest targets do not emit optical light, but they emit infrared light. And as you get colder, then this shifts from near infrared to mid infrared. And to this day, there is loads of sequences for near infrared. Instead of using the near infrared one, I am now only looking for the mid infrared because the coldest targets are emitting most of its light at the mid infrared. So it makes sense that the near infrared doesn't get to fully explain it because it's not as prevalent in that region. So yeah, I'm just going through the whole of the spectra, 72 different targets. I'm looking at them, finding if some are binaries, and then I'm removing those binaries, plotting them, and also comparing them with the different absorptions of different compounds that can be there in the atmosphere. I now have to group them into maybe like 3 or 4 different targets that look really similar, and I choose a reference of targets that are similar in their spectra, and that way we can actually get labels, some spectral types. It's enough talking for now. I'm gonna go and get some work right now. Basically things that my supervisor told me this morning that I had to go into. I am back. I just had dinner. I had some pasta and chicken, and yeah, basically prior to having dinner I was able to go through all the spectra and select the representatives of the different groups that I came up with. So I'm gonna be plotting them with an offset, so like 1, 2, 3, but that's literally like one of the main things that I am doing for my project is just getting that graph where I can visually see the different references that I chose. Hopefully we'll get some visual evolution. Let's hope for the best. I'm just gonna go and plot them. It shouldn't take that long. I'll see you guys right now. It is 10 p.m. so that seals the deal. This could actually be the main figure of the paper, so you know, it's actually quite timely that I started filming today. The aim of today was to get a diagram where I can clearly see my chosen reference spectral types. Obviously, this is not gonna be the definite one. It does look really convincing, and I was able to do it quickly enough. So that is what I consider a successful day, to show you a bit of everything that I'm doing, to kind of explain the project, as well as to show you what I am actually doing today, on the spot. This is what a normal day would look like. So that's how a day currently looks like for me, doing fourth year Physics and Astrophysics at Trinity College Dublin, now that we're doing the capstone research project. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'll see you guys, bye.